Hello, welcome back to How to Draft. Today we're deck building a forced dredge deck that hasn't gone entirely to plan, but that I'm nonetheless enjoying. Codeman's Reach we probably want to play, Modifying Cloak we probably want to play, Moss Dog we definitely want to play, and there's potential in both of those two. Destinide will skip for the moment, Absorb V, Dreamswallow Witches will skip for the moment. Bridge from Below is never going to work. Deep Cavern Imp I don't actually like very much. Wrathy Trapper, get in there. Raven's Crime, get in there. So we're looking at cutting about 5 cards from this deck, maybe 6. Commit mana cost. So definitely want to cut one of the Wood Readers and the Imp. And then we can start looking at this deck, how it looks. So creatures at the top, spells at the bottom. One thing I like to do with this format is treat suspend cards as spells with the cost of their suspend. This I think makes a lot of sense because they don't have an impact on the board at the time that you suspend them, but they are still a creature. So they're a bit like a token maker in that regard, I suppose. Come on, I want to select all 4 of you. Yes, because you're all spells. I'll put you down there. Thank you. Now, Careful Consideration seems really good. Works like a Thirst for Knowledge, draws a lot of cards. The issue is that it costs 2 blue mana, which is a lot of blue mana. Now we've got a Vivid Creek and 2 Vivid Groves, and a Codeman's Reach and an Absorb This, but that's it for our fixing. And we want at least 1 plains, and we want double black every game, and we want double green most games. Probably don't want to play the spell with Ancient. So I think I'm going to cut Careful Consideration. I've got the 2 Thirst for Knowledges, and they make up that slot pretty well. So looking for a last cut from this deck at this point. I mean, it's possible we could run it with 19 lands, but I'd really rather run the full 20. Because I've got those 3 Dagmor salvages, none of which are really lands. Which hurts quite a bit, actually. Maybe I want to run 21. So, cards I'm looking at cutting, there's Citadel Wood Readers, which really doesn't do very much apart from being a 1/4. It does provide something to put Modifying Cloak on, and there aren't a lot of those. But we do have only the 2 token makers. But then if we're not allowed to cut something we wouldn't put Modifying Cloak on, we're cutting either Fixing, a Dredge spell, a Removal spell, or a Retrace spell. I guess we could cut the Baloth. Like, that only gives us the 2 finishers in Moloko and Worm Harvest. And Sensinism, I guess, kind of. We could cut the Thallid Shell Dweller, and only bring it in the aggressive mirrors. But no, I think Citadel Wood Readers is worse than the Shell Dweller, but is doing a similar job. So now, lands, we're going to run both Vivid Lands, all 3 salvages, obviously, Vivid Creek, obviously, and then add land according to our whims and fancies. Well, what do you suggest? We only want the 1 plains, because Kitchen Finks is not actually white, and we definitely want 2+ islands. So, that gives us, piles by colour, 5, 6. What I like to do with Vivid Lands is count them as half a source of a colour that they produce with a counter, which I think works. 5, 6.5, 7 odd black sources. 7, 8. Well, the thing is, counting Dagmor Salvage feels odd because it's not really a land. And then 6, 7, 8.5 green sources. But my Codeman's Reach also provides a black source. And then 1, 2, 3.5 white sources, which sounds like loads. 4.5 even. How many blue sources? 4, 5, 6? Yeah, tons. Tons, because obviously I've got the Absorb This and the Codeman's Reach, which help. I think if it wasn't for Codeman's Reach, I would want to run 1 less forest and 1 more swamp, because I've got those 2 double black spells which I want to cast. But crucially, Codeman's Reach can really help smooth that over. I suppose technically I've got Kitchen Finks as well, Could Kitchen Finks be a Citadel Wood Readers? No, I like that it's Kitchen Finks. I like that it's Kitchen Finks too much. So that's our deck, our forced dredge deck. And I will see you guys for round 1.